Welcome to Ready Layer 2 with me, git.smol. This is a podcast for the founders, innovators, and experimenters building the future of Web3 on Arbitrum. All right, everybody, good morning. At least for me, good morning. We got people joining from all over the world, so it might not be morning for you. But after much ado, we're finally set to start here with the team from Smithy DAO. I'm git.smol, or Don, you can call me, and this is the Ready Layer 2 podcast coming at you live from Sanko TV. And we've got a whole crew here from the Smithy DAO team. I'm going to kick it over to Crafty. I'm going to let you introduce yourself and do a round robin here and let everyone know who is on the line from Smithy DAO.
Cool. Yeah. Thank you for the introduction and thank you for having us on your show today. So I'm Crafty. I'm one of the co-founders over at Smithy. I'm also a dev and I also help out with some of the design work that goes into the game as well. Today, I'm joined by my other co-founder, Shadow. So Shadow Register. So he's my other co-founder, and he does a lot of the dev work as well and design work, and gets his finger in all different parts of the project. We're also joined by Jeff. So he's one of our senior devs who also helps work on Smithy and is actually involved with building the game. So when we show you the MOBA today, actually a lot of that's been built by him. We've also got Smol Hodler with us today. So Smol is part of the OG Smithy team, but he basically helps us out with some of our marketing and networking and just sort of some of our business development side of things. And then we've also got Astra here, who is basically our creative writer, and she writes all of our lore. So the entire sort of universe that Smithy's set in, a lot of that has been created by her. There were supposed to be a couple other people here today, but sadly they couldn't get into the stream. But one of them was supposed to be Effabe, so he's our artist, and pretty much everything in the game has been drawn by him, pretty much. And then we're also supposed to have Bigger Badger on with us as well today, and he basically handles all our music, and he also helps out with some sound engineering stuff.
All right, awesome. Thank you all for coming, and sorry to those two that are having some troubles this morning. The problem with going live, right? It's hard to fix things on the fly sometimes, but I appreciate you guys making it here today. And Crafty, thanks for the intro and making the time. How many people, so you got a nice little crew here today. How many people are on the Smithy DAO team as a whole?
So, yes, obviously everyone here today, and I think there's actually about 8 of us in total, 8 or 9 of us. There's a couple people that also help out with odd little jobs here and there, but I think in total, yeah, I'd say around 8 or 9.
Okay, very cool. And now you guys picked this thing up last summer. I think it was around August or so. I remember I did an interview with Xander from Animus when you guys revived the project. I'll link that up if people are interested in kind of like what that take was at the beginning. But I kind of want to pick up right around that time, like last summer when you guys were really getting into this. The Smithy DAO obviously had a big following. It was one of the original treasure projects. People were really excited about it. There was a mint. Didn't go super well, meaning it just didn't sell well, and it ended up getting shut down basically by the original team. But you guys had been working with them already and picked it up. So I want you to share with the audience here from that point. As I remember the story, I think it was one of the devs that was working on it originally that was like, we should keep this going. So if you can pick that up and give me just a little bit of history of how you guys became Smithy DAO or took over Smithy DAO, if you will.
Yeah, so originally, God, this is going back probably a couple of years now, actually. So I was brought in by Smol and some of the original team to help build out one of the first games for Smithy, which was the card crawler game, which is still live on our site, which is Smithonia.lol. So the card crawler was like this turn-based strategy, single-player sort of game where players it had some roguelite elements where you battled through a sort of dungeon, as it were, sort of 2D dungeon. But it was shown as cards, basically. You're basically battling through cards. And then, yeah, so that's the first game that I helped build. And then a few months after I started building that, I actually got I got employed by Shadow to help out on another game he was building. So Shadow was part of the original Animus team, and he was helping out build a game called Baritone. It's over on Baritone, and I was brought in to basically help build that as well. And then what happened is, so I spent a few months working with him on that, and then I told him about Smithy, and he loved the concept, loved the sort of lore of it, as it were, the universe, the idea. And he then came in and helped build out the second game, Smithy. So there's another game called Golden Harvest, which I think some of your listeners might have played here today. where basically you had to run around like this semi-procedural dungeon, and there was like bats would chase you, you'd have spiders there, and then as you're battling and collecting experience points, you'd level up and you could pick a card on the screen and get stronger. So basically he helped build that game. That was there alongside the card crawler. And yeah, that's how both of us first got the introduction into the project. And then a couple months after that, as everyone knows, it was height of a bear market. Everything was dead. So this was like last year, 2023. And the Smithy team tried to do a mint for their characters called Smithonians, which was going to be a paid mint to basically help bring in some extra revenue for the project. Because the project originally, a lot like a lot of these treasure projects, they did a free mint originally for the Smithy weapons. So this Smithonian mint was supposed to get some funds in so we could keep building out the card crawler, keep building out the Golden Harvest game, and then turn Smithy into a full game, as it were. But sadly, as we all know, that mint didn't go as planned. So the original teams had to disband and give that project up. But then me and Shadow under Animus at that time then basically took over the project. And yeah, pretty much here we are today, building it out, as it is now.
All right, very cool. So I imagine there's been a lot of learning lessons along the way, and that's some of the stuff that I want to really kind of get into in terms of what were the expectations when you started. You just set the stage for that, what you guys wanted to do. What's been, I'd say, the biggest surprise for you between picking this thing up last summer officially, right? Like you said, you were working on it already, but you picked it up and it became yours, so to speak, sometime on that timeline last summer. How has the journey been between then and now? Have there been a lot of surprises? Has it been just heads down hard work? Like, how would you describe your pathway from where you were to here today?
So, yeah, the journey, that's quite a good question. Originally, when we took over the project, so me and Shadow in particular were still working on other games at the time when we took it over, because we obviously need to earn money to pay for bills
Right.
and food and
helpful.
things. Yeah, that's quite a nice thing. So actually progress was quite slow at the start, so we did end up like writing a new white paper, and we had thousands of ideas as to what we could do, and there's still so I know now we're focusing on the MOBA and things, but there's still thousands of ideas out there we've got for things we can do. But I think a lot of our early time was just trying to hone down what would work. And the trouble is, so at that time I was still finishing off my PhD as well, so that was till September last year. I was still finishing that, and Shadow was still helping out on. But there's another game called Gold Ink, and then obviously Baramonium as well over on Berachain. He was still helping out build out those games as well. So the focus wasn't as refined. The focus wasn't as precise in those early months.
Sure.
But then around about October, we started focusing a bit more on Smithy, and we actually applied for the Questbook grant from Fluke. And there's also another grant from Gitcoin we got as well. And we basically laid out what our vision was, the sort of progress we had made on the project to Fluke. And thankfully, we was awarded that Questbook grant. So having that come in then allowed us to, because we had some funds there, we could focus a bit more on actually building out Smithy. We didn't have to focus on doing all these other things we're doing. And then that let us basically also have some money to pay Jeff, who we brought on at that time, and then also keep FFA paid as well, so you keep doing the art. And that basically let us speed up development and focus on the MOBA that we've been building.
Yeah, right on. Yeah, focus of resources obviously so important in any project. What did you guys get to a point in that early phase where you were still trying to do everything? You're working on the PhD, you're doing like you're stretched thin, if you will. Was there a point where you guys were like, we have to go get funding for this, and then you sought out those grants, or did they just pop up and you guys saw it as an opportunity? Like, oh, we should check that out.
Yeah, I think we were still trying to do other projects to keep ourselves paid, and then we were basically going to work on this sort of part-time, as it were. We didn't, so we had we knew about these grants. So I think actually whilst I was still doing my PhD, I heard about the Fleet grants. I think around early September, I think is when that was first announced. So we knew it was coming, but as we know, sometimes with grants, they get announced, but you don't know exactly when they'll go live or when they'll be paid out, etc. Yeah, so obviously it was a bit of a waiting game as to when we'd be able to apply for that and get funding, but there wasn't any sort of pinpoint focus on getting it, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, totally.
Yeah.
Yep. No, I got you. And I'm just curious, like, I'm looking at this from the standpoint of somebody else who's founding a project and who's at that spot, right? Who's still doing the day job in the school or whatever that happened to go on. That's what I'm trying to get at there, is that breaking away from that and creating a space for yourself to focus on it, exploring that area. Kicking over to Shadow. At this point, like when you got to finally get heads down on this, Crafty says you guys had thousands of ideas. How did you guys decide what to focus on, right? Out of those 1,000 things, what was the process from taking that 1,000 down to the one that became the MOBA, or the handful that you guys focused on?
Yes, basically the kind of the idea that we all have, that the vision that we see for Smithy is we want to build an MMORPG. And we all know that's extremely complicated and something we cannot do with the team that we have today. So we thought, how can we get there? What are the steps that we can take to actually make that vision come to life at some point in the future? And so we thought MOBAs are very popular. MOBAs can produce value over a long period of time, because the old game that we had built was a single player where we would need to constantly make new content, new levels, new stuff, and it's just not something we can sustain over a long period of time. Whereas MOBAs allow people to replay the same level, but get different content every time they play because they're playing against other players. So we thought, okay, let's focus on something that is multiplayer, that will allow us to not have to make so much content all the time, but also be fun for players over a long period of time, where we can slowly add content and people can have a lot of fun. On top of that, it's something that we can do to focus on our combat and focus on basically building out our character system, building out all the networking and everything that we need to actually take that same content in this small arena and turn it into a massive, expansive world over time. Because if you really think about what's the difference between a MOBA and an MMO is just a lot of content around the experience of what a MOBA is. And so that's like the deciding factor and what took us in that direction. It's just trying to think, what is the simplest thing we can build to get the most fun and something we can expand on in the future.
Yeah, that makes total sense, right? Because if you went away, resources notwithstanding, obviously if you need the resources to do it, but even if you went away and you did that for a long time and you don't have anything to show other than promises and stories, it can be hard to keep people engaged. So I think that's a great approach in general to rolling out a project, is what can you get in the hands of the community as early as possible? Start getting that feedback, keep people engaged, or really just get things moving while you work towards your big vision. So I think that's a smart way to approach it. And as you're going through this, Crafty and Shadow, as co-founders and as devs, having to do all the different jobs can be pretty strenuous, or can be pretty tough on the founders throughout this process. So especially like coding is you got to be heads down, you got to be focused, you got to have a good time for it. But if you're getting pulled into meetings, you're worrying about marketing, you're worrying about all this stuff, there's just a lot to handle. So I'll kick it to whoever wants to take that out of Crafty and Shadow. Like, how did you guys manage that as founders, having to wear all the different hats over the past year to get this thing moving?
I can take a little bit of it, and then I'll let Crafty talk a little bit about his experience. In my experience, it's mostly just a passion for the project that kind of pushes you through all of those kind of things, right? So it's like from the time I go to bed to the time I wake up in the morning, or the reverse of that, from the time I wake up in the morning to the time I go to bed, I just think about Smithy all the time. And even if it wasn't my project or whatever, like before it was even my thing, I was always thinking about Smithy, just because it's such a cool idea, this dark fantasy world and all the stuff that we can do with it. And so that kind of pushes me through all of the different things. Sometimes it is a little tricky because we have a bunch of meetings, and we have all these different things going on, and you need like a good chunk of time to start coding, because you have that context switch, right? So you get into the coding, you have all this code going on in your head, right? You have all these systems that you're thinking about, and then all of a sudden you have a meeting. And so you have to go do the meeting, and then you come back to the code and you're like, where was I? And so you lose some efficiency there. But I think it just comes to trying to block out times, trying to be as productive as you can, and just the passion for the project to have a lot of sleepless nights, essentially. But yeah, I'll let Crafty.
That's part of it.
Yeah, I'll let Crafty talk about his experience.
Pretty much I've got almost the same stuff to say as Shadow, to be honest, except, I agree, it's a lot of hard work. And it's having a lot of availability as well. So our team's spread throughout the world. People work at all times of the day compared to my local time. And yeah, pretty much from the second I get up to when I go to sleep, I always have my sort of phone near me. And if people have a question or if there's some discussion going on in our dev Discord or something, I always try to weigh in. And in particular, I don't want to be a founder that just sits and just says ideas to people and that's it. I like to get my fingers in as much as I can because, yeah, a bit like Shadow, I think about this project a lot. It's kind of like my baby and I want to see it prosper and grow and be successful in all elements of game design, looking at artworks that everybody's made or in music badges bring out to us anything with the story, astral rights. I'm always looking at things and trying to give my input into it as well, try to help out where I can, just yeah, in every aspect pretty much.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, no, it's definitely the passion's important if you're going to be a founder. It can't be something like you can't start a company or a project like with the intention of I want to get this done so I can make some money or something like that. Like it has to be important to you because there's a lot of those, like you said, sleepless nights. There's a lot of hard times. There's a lot of kind of always on. And if you're always on because you're excited, is very different experience than if you're always on because you have to be and you're being forced to be. And so you guys are lucky that you're working on something that you really care about. So as you move forward, you got these grants, you started to think about expanding the team. Where was the first place that you added a staff or started to expand the team?
Yeah, so I think actually, we brought Efrabe on, so he was on the original Smithy team as well, and we brought him with us and kept him on the team because the art is very unique to him, and I think it would be extremely difficult to replicate that. I, for one, can't draw. I also don't think Shadow can draw as well, probably. So there's definitely, as I said, I'll try to help out where I can, but some areas I can't. And one of those areas is artwork. So definitely FBA is crucial to be kept around so that he can help draw everything that goes into the world. And then likewise, I'd worked with Jeff as well on Baritone. So he was brought on to this sort of new version of Baritone that's being built, and we worked on that a little bit together before we moved fully on Smithy. And he's a very competent dev. He's trustworthy. I know he'll turn up. And having more dev talent is crucial for what we're building. So actually, that's the other first area we expanded was basically bringing on Jeff, giving him a wage and making it his full-time priority to work on Smithy and building out our MOBA.
Gotcha. Now, FBA was one of the ones that couldn't connect. Is that right?
Yeah, you can't connect.
Okay. I saw Bigger Badger did make it on, so hello, Bigger Badger. But I'll jump in to you, Jeff, then. Just a quick question for you as a dev. One of the things that I was curious about coming into this, or not curious about, but hopeful to share with a founder in the audience, is the perspective of you as a team member, as a dev. What is important to you in terms of the founder giving you support? What are the things that the founders do for you, or that it's important for founders to do for their staff, their devs, to help you be productive?
Yeah, for me, is more about clarity over the task that needs to be accomplished. So what Shadow and I do from time to time is to hop in a meeting, sometimes just both of us, and discuss what we want to accomplish for the next week. This way we always have focus on what we are going to deliver as soon as possible, right? Because since we are a small team for now, I assume we have something out as soon as we have people playing the game, and you all want the game to be fun and successful, right? Other than that, I would say apart from focus, for me, the most important are make sure everybody is having fun building the project and make sure we all have been challenged. This way we can grow ourselves as well. Not only just do the task, but do new and different things that everyone gets excited to do.
Yeah, no, totally. I'm with you 100% on all that stuff. Like the first thing you start with, the clarity of task. If you have a team and you're assigning them work, you're hoping to help them accomplish something, like they have to know exactly what that thing is and understand it and be on board with it. And I think also just be on the same page in terms of expectations. This is what we're trying to accomplish in the long run. And here's where we're going to be next week, or here's where we hope to be next week. And then those kind of check-ins and things like that. So I'm totally with you on that. And then I think number 2 you said was just the ability to focus on the work. Super important. And then, yeah, obviously if we're not having fun, like life's too short, man. You got to find something else to do if you're not enjoying the time you're spending, the people you're working with, et cetera. So, no, awesome. Thanks for that. And then I'm going to jump over to Small. I believe you're on the BD side and the marketing and everything else and part of the original team. Is that right, Small?
Yes, that's right.
So you had a much different experience here, right? So you were part of it. It got taken down, or the project got shut down. So if you don't mind jumping back to that standpoint, I'm not getting the specifics about how or why or what, but like really just your experience from it. What was that like, having worked on the project for a long time, and then having to have it see it go away? What was that kind of initial experience for you there?
As one of the original main founders of the previous version of Smithy DAO, I'll say, it was like it all started, Crafty said before, with a free mint. We were in that period of free mints were hyped in the arbitrance phase, I'll say. And unfortunately, it was always very hard to get some fundings at that time, especially when we entered the bear market, when we tried to do a mint and it didn't go well, or we didn't raise the funds that we were expecting to continue the project, as a lot of the previous main team were actually working for free. And if you keep working for many months for free or even years, at a given point, people get not motivated again. And it's hard to continue a project. But then we met the amazing people, Shadow and Crafty. They were already building the games, as I said. And it's like giving your child to someone else. It's very hard to do, but I think it was the right thing to do at that given point, because I was sure that those 2 guys were going to make something amazing, because it was always a pleasure to work with those guys. They are dedicated in what they're doing. And I think that's what you need to have a successful project. And from that given point, we transferred everything to them. I stepped away for a few months because I was also a little bit, I will not say depressed, but a kind of, because you still had to do what you had to do for the best, and also for the community that we have, a great community. And it was actually feeling bad by doing that, but it was the right choice. And like today, where they're doing, and they did a great job till today. Then I stepped back in to say, hey guys, I want to help out, because I saw that the marketing part was like too heavy load for those guys, because they were still 24/7, I'll say, especially Shadow is working 24/7 to the code. And I said, guys, look, I'm here to help you out and see where it goes, because after a few months, somewhere it was missing being in Web3. I've always been around, also had some personal things that I had to cover, but that went all well, and that's why I asked to come back and to help out the guys.
Right on. Yeah, and marketing and biz dev in general, that is a particular skill that everyone doesn't just have that naturally. And in my experience, I don't know, don't take offense, Crafty and Shadow and Jeff, but in my experience, I started as a dev. We don't have that skill. That particular skill usually is not like the top of our talents. So having somebody come in that does have that skill set and step in and focus on it, I think is really important for a project, especially early on. Just knowing how to talk to your community is so important. We see it all the time, right? With problems happen with projects, and then the founders step in and they just destroy all of their PR and say all of the wrong things and get flustered and all of that. So really important to have that aspect to the team, in my opinion. And then obviously, Spal, you're here. So like you came back, you liked you saw what they were doing with the project. You're able to bring yourself back into it, get excited about it. You're still there, so that means you guys are working well together, which is awesome. What is your main focus right now? What is the when it comes from a marketing and a biz dev standpoint for Smithonia and Smithy DAO in general, what's your main focus right now?
I think the main focus is at the moment, beside the part that Crafty is leading, that part more is the grant part, to get some grants here and there. I try to help out where I can on that part, but mostly I am on partnerships and also organizing. We are doing now since short is some game nights with other communities and so on, so that to bring in also other communities into our space, even if it's Web2 or another chain or whatever. I think we are one big gaming community, because a gamer will also not only play games that are developed by Ubisoft, but also play games that are developed by, for example, Rockstar and so on. So that's what I'm trying to do, is to bring everyone a little bit together, give them also a session of the game we're making. And I think the main focus is to get back a lot of attention to Smithonia, I'll say, because we are almost there, if I can say that, to show something to the community and just to bring back some hype into the project.
Sure. Yeah. So focus is on community building, getting players excited about it so that they're lined up and ready to go when the game starts. Are there any, as you look a little bit further forward, do you have any ideas or goals in terms of partnership with other projects, or like more like the BD stuff from that standpoint, like a project level BD? Do you have any kind of things in the works that you could talk about?
If I'm right, and if I can already say this, we are also looking with other projects to see what we can bring from their world into our world or the other side away. So
That's
a little bit like, cross-platforming, I'll say. So that's something that we are definitely working on.
Okay, awesome. Good to hear it. And then we'll make sure I get to everybody here before we run out of time on the interview portion of this. I know we got Astra, and you are on the lore side. Is that right? Were you new to the project, or were you part of the original team?
I was brought in last summer. I've worked previously with Shadow on some other projects. So I came in to look at the story, the world, what was there, how we can build. And that's what I've been focusing on. I like to say I contribute a little bit to a more outside perspective because I don't know marketing, I don't know game dev a bit, but I am a gamer, so I can be like this. Sometimes I try to pitch in if this makes sense or if that doesn't make sense, or what if we do this, and just contribute creatively. Since I care about this project, I think it's really cool. I love our team. But where we currently are, it's not super writing heavy, but I still want to contribute as much as I can.
Got it. Very cool. Initial job was basically to come in and understand the existing lore then, I imagine, right? Was that step one to the whole process?
That was definitely my step one, yes. I wanted to understand what the community already had, what was established. I always got frustrated personally when someone new would come into a project on other instances and then rewrite everything. I felt that was always really disrespectful, and I didn't want to do this to this community at all. So that's what I really tried to do, and I tried to do research and dig in where I could. And even now I'll stumble on little bits and pieces that I missed. I'm like, okay, I can work this in or do all that kind of stuff.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I imagine it takes a bunch of passes back through to get all of the nuance out of that existing storyline.
Sometimes, but I find it's a bit of a fun treasure hunt to me.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, from your perspective, like as a gamer, as a writer, why is the lore important in all of this? What does it bring to the project?
So personally, I find lore and story and depth to a universe really engaging in games. It could make and break a game for me. Not everyone's like that, but I feel like having that available, so those who do engage with that have that available. If you just want to go play a MOBA, hey, here's a really fun MOBA that we're going to put out. But if you want to delve into the lore behind it, why does this MOBA exist in this universe? Why are you crafting all these items? Why are you fighting? If you want to have that avenue, I'm really hoping to work with the team and establish a deeper underlying meaning so those who are curious, who want to go digging, are completely able to, are even encouraged to do, if that makes sense.
Yeah, right on. It adds so many extra layers to the project. I'd say that's understanding the importance of the lore and the value that it brings to the table. I think that's one of the biggest kind of ahas I've had since really getting into Web3 gaming in particular. I don't know why before that I didn't quite catch on, but being here and seeing how the communities, how they get attached to the projects that they like and that they play, and hang out in the discords and talk to the teams and follow that lore and care about it. I've never seen that anywhere else. I think that's a really special thing that happens here in Web3. And for me, it adds a ton to the experience. And to the listener out there, I would recommend going back and checking out the interview I did with Smithy DAO. They get into the lore deep. That's basically our entire conversation of what's behind the lore and why it's important to all of the games. It was a great conversation. So I'll link that up. Highly recommend it. But yeah, Astra, I think you guys, the writers, just bring a ton to all of this. I definitely appreciate your role in all of it. Thanks for coming on to share. And then the last one I think we haven't got to yet here is Bigger Badger. And I don't recall, I know Crafty told me what you did, but if you can remind me what your role is on the project.
Oh yeah, I am doing music and helping out with SFX, sound effects as well.
Very nice. Also super important. One of the things that I've grown to appreciate in games. So were you new to the project as well, or were you part of the either part of the old team or working on it before?
I am new to the project. I think think it's been about 3 or 4 months now since I got on. I was actually around for the original Smithy DAO mint, and so I've just been in the Discord since. And yeah, in that time I started diving into composing music for various, mostly Web3 games. And then, yeah, a few months ago, just thought to ask them if they needed help with audio.
Nice. Yeah, that's again, like another aspect to the game when you're playing something, good sound effects, good music and everything. It just adds to the immersive experience, really makes all the difference. So I think super important. How do you describe it? Obviously you got into this for a reason. It's important to you for a reason. Why? What draws you to creating music and what draws you to creating sound effects and working on that aspect of things specifically in a gaming setup?
Sure, yeah. So I started out mostly doing like live performance, and I like studied music in school, and I did a lot of like recording I have a studio at my house that I built. And yeah, I think it was really interesting getting into writing music with a sort of a prompt or like to fit a theme, because I just think the music can really place you in the environment as long as it is the right music for the theme. And then like one thing I always think about is, I think, not to be a little bit morbid, but depression rates among deaf people are like pretty high. And I think about that because sound isn't something that you normally pay the most attention to, but it's this background thing that it's affecting the way you experience things more subtly than maybe like visuals or something like that. But it's still really important to the overall mood of the game or movie or whatever it is.
Yep,
so yeah,
I'm
I
with
think it
you.
can have a big impact.
Yeah, it's part of the fabric. And I agree, you don't focus on it. And I think that's probably like a well executed sound effect or song or something like that probably doesn't draw your attention to it, but just complements the experience that you're having. And everybody's had that, right? Experiences in life where the right song at the right time like really makes the memory, like it makes the moment, if you will. So it's super important in my opinion, for sure. I think it adds a lot to the gaming experience. I know we're running pretty long here. We want to get to the game here, right? I'm sure everyone watching on Sanko here is eager to see the game. I am too. Before we jump into that, I just want to kick back to Crafty and Shadow, just in terms of what you can share, like where are you at in terms of the timeline on all this? Obviously, we're going to see a little bit of preview of the alpha version of the game here, the MOBA here. What are you guys thinking right now in terms of when you can start to get this out in the hands of the community?
So in terms of the MOBA we're about to show you, we're literally, I keep saying this, we're literally a couple of weeks away from getting out testing for our legacy pass holders in our community. So there's just a couple things we just want to get. Well, there's a couple things we need to get working, a bit like the matchmaking stuff. But once that's all good, then yeah, we'll basically be opening up play sessions. So it'll probably be at the weekend, or there'll be a couple of these sessions a week, or less an hour, so we can condense people down so that they can quickly find matches. And as I said, we'll host a couple of these a week. So yeah, that's 2 or 3 weeks away, maybe.
Okay, very nice. So coming up, and you said pass holders, original Smithy DAO pass holders are going to be the ones that get first crack at it?
Yeah, so basically in Smithy at the minute there's 2 NFT collections. So we've got the Smithy weapons, we've got Smithy legacy passes, and the weapons will be used directly in the game itself. But basically the legacy pass, that's like the best way we describe it is like a Smithy stock. So it's like our premium membership token, as it were. So these people will get free mints and stuff, and they get a bit of revenue share as well. And one of the other benefits is this will make up our testing community, which, so there's quite a few people there. I've got the exact number of the holders. There's quite a few that we can then invite in to basically test the game first, before anyone else.
Got it. Awesome. So yeah, to the listener viewer out there, grab your Smithy pass if you don't have them already. I assume they want to be in the Discord if they want to participate in this stuff. Is that true?
Yeah. So if they want to be in our Discord, which I don't know if you want to drop a link to that there, or they can find it on our Twitter as well, or X, sorry. But yeah, basically, they want to be in our Discord, and then once they've bought the Legacy Pass, they can claim their role in our Discord, and then there's a special channel in there where we sort of communicate stuff to them before the main tavern chat.
All right. So I'm looking at the landing screen here. What am I doing? How do I get this thing rolling?
Yeah, so I started up the server, so you should be able to just click Start Client and hop into the game.
All right. Start client. I am in the game. I assume I'm like WASD controls here. Yeah.
I dropped a Discord link in our Riverside chat, by the way.
Okay, perfect. I will grab that in a second. So who am I fighting with? Anybody I see here?
Yeah, so I think this is me and you. We're on a team.
Okay.
Oh, everybody
How do I
that's
tell who's on my
everybody
team?
that's blue is your team. Everybody that's
All right,
red will be an enemy.
Oh, got it. I'm just green because that's my life bar. I get it. Guap,
Yeah,
how
yeah,
do
no
we
problem.
sound? Or Yuppie, any of you guys out there on the Sanko chat, if you can let me know. Is this working for you? Or you? I know Hot Tub says the graphics look amazing. How's it sound? Is the sound troublesome? It's really smooth, I'll tell you that, from a gameplay standpoint. I assume these guys, these little bats that I'm smashing right now are just NPC, right?
Yeah. So I
Kinda
guess we can
hovering
kind of
around.
give like a little overview of like how the game is played. So essentially, you have these camps. I think this is So you have the camps where you have all these monsters essentially. When you kill them, they give you two things. So you see this little purple thing that just dropped after I killed this guy. When
yeah.
you pick this up, it gives you a point. And so if you see next to your health bar, you have 5. I have 5. I'm standing
Okay.
next to you.
Yep.
These are our points. Our team's points is at the top of the screen where you can see there's like a little blue flag. We have 10 points total. And so it's basically us versus the red team where they have 18 points total. And basically once
Okay.
this timer runs out, whoever has the most points wins.
Got it.
And so what happens when you get killed is you drop all the points that you're holding, and so the enemy team can pick it up. So literally the enemy team could have like 100 points more than you. And if you kill them, then you immediately start winning again. So it could be like the last 5 seconds of the match, and you take down the guy with the most points, and all of a sudden you're winning. And then another thing that you get when you kill a monster is you get some gold. So if you look in the bottom right corner or bottom left corner of your screen, you see
Yep.
I can see on your stream you have 1 gold.
Yep.
Once you have 5 gold, these cards will highlight up, and then you can actually spend that 5 gold to buy one of these cards. And what these cards do is they're basically like buffs for your characters. So it's got kind of like roguelike features to the game. So this is kind of your shop. This is where you upgrade your character throughout the match. And you kind of decide the path that you want to go. And it's kind of a little bit random every time. You get different cards every time you pick a new card. And you can also re-roll your cards if you don't like your options using the re-roll button.
Okay. And then what are these little... I just picked up like a potion. What does that do for me?
Yeah, so there's like little green health potions on all 4 sides. And basically that just gives you a little health because there's no other way to get
Okay.
health. So you kind of have to run
Got
around
it.
and pick up these health potions.
Got it. Oh, this is cool. It's really smooth. Like all the movement and everything. I'm terrible at it, but I didn't expect otherwise.
Yeah,
I don't even get
we
over here. What's
worked
this giant
extremely
spider
hard
thing
on
in the middle
doing-
here?
Oh, sorry.
Who's this? What's this giant spider-looking thing I'm fighting with in the middle here?
So he's supposed to be one of the boss characters.
Okay.
And essentially, what's going to happen is when you kill this boss, it gives you a lot of points. And so
Okay.
it's something that like teams will fight over in the middle of the arena to
Oh,
try to
so
get.
both teams can kill this guy. He had a red bar. I thought he might be the part of the other team. Yeah, this is cool. Everyone went quiet. I didn't lose all you, did I?
Yeah, everybody's fighting. In the
Everyone's
middle.
just playing now. That's fine. Everyone's just focused on playing. I like it.
So now we're actually in the lead from that fight.
Nice. Oh yeah, we got a lot there. We're up to 62.
And I think the other problem is it's a little bit hard to hear. I think when you're talking, for me anyway.
Yeah,
So it's
I personally
okay.
won't be able to hear.
Got it. Yeah, I'm having a different experience. When you I hear no music whatsoever from the game. No music or sound effects. And I can hear you guys perfectly, just like when we were doing the interview before the game. Killing this
Yeah,
AFK
I think,
guy. Get back here.
I think it'll be okay. I mean, hopefully everybody can hear us. I'm not sure what the experience is for other people.
So Jordan on the chat said that it is. He said it looks and sounds great. It's definitely a bit loud, but he's dealing with it. So that'll be something. I'll have to figure out how to. There's got to be maybe some granular control I can have on that somehow. But I have no idea what that somehow is at the moment. But when we do the final edit, I'll be able to fix it all up. So the thing that ends up on YouTube will be nice and clean and easy to hear, balanced. I suck at aiming the little throw. The Q? What is that?
Oh, yeah.
Throw
It is a
hammer?
bit
Yeah,
tricky.
I didn't try F yet. What does that do?
Oh no.
It's like my
I'm
biggest
getting
one.
wrecked.
Yeah, come
I'm
here,
getting
Shadow.
tag teamed over here.
To be fair,
I got my throw.
I was originally going to be not talking. So originally was going to be not playing and just talking, but I saw there's only 5 people in the game, and we
Man, I
built
was
to
just
6. I
walking
thought I'd get
around,
stuck in.
people killed me.
Dudes, this is awesome. I like this a lot.
Nice. Also to know when you do a health upgrade, it gives you back full health. So that's another way you can gain health. Oh no! No!
Yeah, let's get whacked. All right, so we got a couple questions here. So the first question was, is this inspired by any other MOBA games?
Yeah.
Yuppie.
So I
What's up,
think
Yuppie?
we take. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just saying hold up. That's go ahead and answer.
Oh, so I was just gonna say, we really looked into actually like Pokemon Unite is kind of a big inspiration for us in terms of MOBA. We see this game a little like we took some experience from League of Legends and some experience from various different MOBAs, but definitely Pokemon Unite has like more of a brawler kind of feel, and that's kind of the feel that we wanted to give off here is a bit more brawler. And kind of like shorter match times. So we didn't want to have like an hour-long matches or anything like that. We want people to be able to get into matches, play for 6 to 10 minutes, and then do another match. Because we find that like the longer match times really kind of feel frustrating when you lose, Whereas like a shorter match, it's like, okay, I lost, it's all good. I'll do another one,
Yep. And how long was this match? I know we got 4 minutes 18 seconds left.
Oh yeah. So we have about 4 minutes and 12 seconds. The match time right now is 15 minutes long, but we're gonna trim it down. I think we're gonna try to hit like maybe 7 or 6 minute match time because we've noticed that the matches are last a bit long. So one of the things we're trying to perfect right now is the start of the match and the middle of the match. The end of the match is a lot of fun because you're at the last 2 minutes. Everybody's trying to kill the guy with the most points so that they can win again. And so the last bit of the match is always the most intense part. And so we want to kind of find a way to make the beginning of the match and the middle of the match a little bit more engaging.
Okay.
And so one of the ways we're going to do that is obviously decrease the time so that you're not like taking too long at the start of the match. But also find some more strategy at the start of the match. So we do kind of have some stuff in place. It's just not 100% ready yet. Like we have this monster down at the bottom of the screen, and then we have the monster in the middle and the monster at the top. So the idea is between those monsters, they'll give you more stuff, and it's something that players will have to fight over in terms of the strategy.
Got it.
And so we're working a bit more on making it feel a little bit more strategic in that respect. Because right now it's more just about like fighting each other, but we're still working to make it to where the actual monsters that you fight are a bit more important in the match. I got 2 guys chasing me right now.
All right. I also got a question about the skills here. It says the move speed, health, and cooldown. What do those do?
So move speed will make your character faster. So when you purchase move speed, you'll go a little faster every time. It's like a 10% or 20%, I forget exactly which, bonus. And then there's attack damage, just gives your character a little bit more damage. And then there is on your screen attack speed, attack speed. And that just makes your character attack a bit faster. So, you know, every time you click, there's like a delay before you can attack again. So attack speed
okay.
kind of improves the rate at which you can do your basic attack.
Got it. That's cool.
But you have to have 5 gold before you can purchase those. So basically, by killing monsters, you get gold, and you can use that gold to upgrade your cards.
Got it. Awesome. And they're also asking, is there going to be a mini map with the teams on it?
Yes. Actually, that's a feature. Jeff can probably give a little explanation on that because he's been working on that. I don't know if Jeff wants to hop in and to talk a little bit about the mini map that he's currently working on. Oh no! No!
Oh yeah, that's my points.
Crafty just stole the points in the last minute. That's not good.
Well, I think that Jeff left.
I didn't
Oh, did he?
even
Okay.
notice.
So yeah. So essentially, we have a mini map
How do I know who has
in
them?
progress. Sorry, what's that?
How do I know who has all the points? So I'm chasing somebody, but it might not be the right guy.
You can see on the top of their screen. So I think the guy you're fighting right now, he has 18 points.
Oh, that's what that 18 is. Okay. Well, that guy ain't gonna help me then. I assume whoever stole all the points is hiding somewhere.
Okay, he's right here up at the top left.
There he is. Kill him.
Let's get him.
Lost him.
We got 14 seconds to kill him.
Oh no, you don't.
Got one. That's not
Oh
helpful.
Where'd
no,
he
you
go?
don't.
I have no idea. I lost him.
I have
Yeah, I
maxed out
lost
my
him
move
too. I don't know
speed.
where he went.
Somewhere at the top of the map.
Oh,
Ah. That was awesome though.
Quick Crafty's done it again.
I like that. That's high stakes at the end. So it's because we were winning by a lot. So to steal that, so you steal them just by killing them, and then they drop a single orb or whatever, and then you pick that up and you get all the points.
yeah. So they'll drop all their points on the ground, and you just pick it up, and then you have all their points that they dropped on the ground.
That's awesome. No, really good, guys. The gameplay is amazing. It's super smooth. It's 6 people in there. Obviously, no lag or anything like that. It was clean. It was smooth. It'll definitely take some getting used to with all the different options in terms of, what do you got, like 3 or 4 different attack options there. So, I mean, people with good gamer fingers will be fine, but I'll have to get used to it. But that was awesome. Very nice work.
Yeah, and so kind of one of the things we're working on is like the 7 different weapons. Unfortunately, the continue button isn't working right now because usually it'll take you to
Okay.
the main menu, but we're
Got it.
leaving out the main menu for now. So I mean, if you wanted to refresh the page, then you'll probably be able to play again or whatever you want to do.
Got it.
But yeah, so we're working on like 7 new weapons. Well, not new weapons, but basically all the weapon NFTs that we have, we're gonna have a weapon for each of those, and each of them are gonna have 4 skills. Kind of one of the cool things that we're working on though is the skills that we have with the weapons right now, you won't have to stick with all the time. We're gonna have a little shop where you can purchase new skills for each weapon. And then before the match starts, you'll be able to select which skill you want to equip to your weapon. So they'll be extremely changeable. So if you're like used to League of Legends or Pokemon Unite or whatever you're used to, you usually pick a character, and that's the style of gameplay that you kind of go with, right? But in this case, you'll have your weapon, so it determines what type of skills you can attach, but you can kind of customize how you want to play. And one of the cool things is once you're like in like a drafting phase, when you're getting ready to fight other people, you can see what weapon they're picking and what skills they're picking, and try to counter those skills and weapons with your own build pick. And so there'll be a lot of customization in terms of like what skills people will pick and use on their weapons. And also there'll be some like strategy with teams based off of what skills they have to determine, how you can work together with your team. So maybe somebody will play like a more healer role, or somebody will play like a more defensive role, and then you'll have like an attacker. And that'll all be determined by what skills you're putting on your character, and then also your character stats, because we're working on things like armor and other things that you can attach to your character before the start of the match. And armors will have like let's say boots. will give you like a 10% movement speed, or some additional bonuses that you can basically start the match with, aside from the card systems. And then also moving on to the card system will also have its own shop where you can build your own custom decks that you bring into the matches. And that'll give you the different random cards, and you can kind of build what kind of decks that you want to have inside of the match.
That sounds awesome, man. So you're really onto something here. I think that was a ton of fun for a first crack at an alpha release of this, and all of those additional layers you're talking about. You're obviously set up really well to do tournaments and things like that with this. So I think you guys got something here. You're really going to get people excited about, get people engaged. So just really nice job all around. I can't wait to get to play it with the sound on and everything, because I think missing out on that aspect of it probably make it even better for what we were just talking about. But
Yeah.
super impressed, and just smooth, just nice job. One last comment that I saw here, someone suggested that you guys should add a list of the players on your team and the points they have, so you know who to defend as you get close to the end there. And it looks like there's a bunch more comments. I'll go through all the comments and make sure that if there's anything else in there, suggestions question-wise, that we get them to you guys, get them addressed some other way at least. But just awesome stuff, man. I really appreciate you all coming on here to do this today, and glad it went as smooth as it did.
Yeah, no,
So,
we really appreciate you having us. It's been a lot of fun, and I think this was a really good time, and hopefully we can do this again as we make more progress.
Oh, I'd love that. Yeah, 100%. I'd love to have you guys back and do that again. That was a lot of fun. And as you get to the point where you open it up, maybe we could even get a few people from the community to come in and play live with us here on Sanko and be part of it too. I think that'd be a lot of fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and that's probably something we're actually going to encourage when we do these play sessions for any of the community that have legacy passes as well. We'll just encourage people to stream and get out there and show off the gameplay as much as we can. So the testing will be closed to a certain group that own the legacy passes, but we'll want what we've worked on to be public. We want to get it out there that, look, we're building, here's our game, and just get as many eyes on it as possible.
Yeah, I'm happy to help any way that I can. Super excited for what you guys are building and bringing to the community here. And again, thank you to everybody on the team for coming and sharing a bit about your journey. Really appreciate it. I'd say Crafty, Shadow, anyone else from the team, any kind of parting thoughts, anything else you want to share with the community or let them know as we're wrapping up here?
All I'll say to the community is just thank you for everyone that's been there supporting us, still supporting us, people that come into the Discord, say GM, people that help push out any of the tweets we put out there even further. Just people that actually have always believed in us, still believe in us in what we're building. Pretty much, I just want to thank everyone.
Awesome.
I wanna
Very
say
good.
that-
Thank you all again for joining us. Thank you to does someone else have something there?
Yeah, for the people who are curious about the development side, there is one special channel on our Discord server that I am posting here and there a few stuff that it's still a work in progress, but is nice for people to take a sneak peek. And for example, the scoring system, I began to build something over there, so the guys who are curious can take a look.
Perfect. Love it. Engage the community in every way, even on the technical side. I think that's awesome. And listeners, take them up on that. Get in the Discord, get your Smithy passes, make sure you're following along this thing. It's, as you just saw, that I'm sure it looked awesome. It is a lot of fun to play. Even in the distracted mode that I'm in here, I can't wait to really give it a run. Once again, thank you to the team. Thank you to everyone that joined us here on Sanko TV. And we'll get this thing cleaned up and out to everybody else for replay on YouTubes and all that. That'll be coming soon. That's it for today, though. Thank you all so much. Have a great day.
Thanks for having us.
Cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
thanks for having us, man.
Thank you for listening to Ready Layer 2. If you're an Arbitrum builder with a story to share, then hit me up on Twitter at git.smol, GITSMOL. Learn more at gitsmol.com.